Yeah. Fly Eagles flying when you on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season head, really time to do him in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Brandon here, and this is Philly the podcast with Monday Night Breakdown. And hey, it's on Victory Monday. You know, we got Black Market and Swerve here. What's going on, guys?
Hey, good evening. Hey, not much is going on, man. Just glad to be here. You know what I'm saying? After a victory Sunday. So ready to go.
Yes, sir. So, I mean, we got the segment today. We don't have to really be depressed because we did win. We won a game that we're supposed to win. We might only have like 3 more wins than the Jets, but this is a game that everyone circled on their calendar over the summer saying, all right, we're going to get a dub here. And we went ahead and we did get the dub. So before we get into any specifics about the game, I mean, the players and everything, what were your guys' thoughts on the game and as a whole?
I'll let Swerve go first.
All right. Well, the Eagles were 11-0 versus the Jets going in. The Jets are a really bad football team. The Eagles aren't a great football team, but no matter who was quarterback in the Eagles, I felt like this should have been a win. Started rough. It was a really rough start. But they got it together, and they did what they were supposed to do. Minshew looked good. I feel like the play calling and the game, they called the game really well. And I think everything went according to plan except for the Jets. I didn't think the Jets were going to score that much. But it's a win. Victory Monday. I'm not going to complain. I'm happy to have a win and be 12-0 against the Jets in all time.
Yeah, I'm with them. You know, it's satisfying. You know, you don't want to get too high about it. It's one of those things where it was a win that they should have gotten. You know, I'm not gonna go back to last week. You know, this is a game they should have won. There's no real surprises. They came out, you know, kind of skittish a little, you know, early in the game, but once they, you know, got it together, you saw the difference in rosters, saw the difference in talent, experience, and all of that. So it was just, you know, a decent team win. It was a total team win. So
facts. I don't know why, and maybe it was the negative thoughts in my head, but before getting into this game, I was like, this is that type of season where I feel like the Jets might get their first dub against us, and I was just like, oh my God. And then once they started going for drive with this, it was like they went down, scored. We went down, scored. They went down, scored. We went down. I was like, this is what kind of game is this right now? What is our defense doing, making Zach Wilson look like Zach Brady out there? So before we get on the offense, let's talk about the defense. Was you guys concerned when the game first started?
I was considerably concerned about one, Steven Nelson, for one. 2, I was very concerned also about Anthony Harris. He was getting turned around left and right, and you know, as the guys were coming across his face, and he just didn't know what to do. You know, and that was really for Anthony Harris, but Steven Nelson was no better because they were both on the same side of the field. You know, Harris had his top cover, but it was just like, good Lord, what are y'all? Do y'all communicate? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They looked really bad. That side of the field looked really bad. It got to the point where they had to bench Harris for a couple of series and put Marcus Epps in there. And I was like, good Lord, man. Like, hey, man, like, I understand this is kind of the stuff you get with 1-year deals. But those two together were not good on Sunday. They just weren't.
I agree. If that was the first time you ever watched football and you watched the first quarter of football, you would have thought Zach Wilson was the best quarterback in the league. And I'm sitting watching the game, and I'm just like, why us? Why do we have the knack to make every quarterback look like it's a Pro Bowl audition? Like, hey, check me out. I don't get it. I don't know what's going on that side of the ball. Our defensive line should have dominated the game from jump. I believe it was 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 7 and you're playing against an inexperienced quarterback. You probably should bring a blitz. Like, you probably shouldn't. And then, like you said, Harris and Nelson just looked horrible. So it was like, please bring a blitz and let him get rid of the ball before he finds the open man on that side of the field. And I'm like, if we see this, it's no way somebody up in that box doesn't see this, or someone sitting on the field doesn't see this. So defensively, I still am extremely concerned about what we saw, because the Jets haven't moved the ball. Maybe they beat the Bengals, I think, where they moved the ball up and down the field like that. But we couldn't. Special teams kickoff was atrocious yesterday. And defensively, that first quarter was pretty disgusting too. Like, the first 25 minutes of the game, 30 minutes of the game defensively, the Eagles looked horrible. I mean, it's the Jets, and we didn't expect them to be able to continue to move the ball like that. You make adjustments, but you definitely shouldn't have been giving up yardage like that to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson got dominated by Coastal Carolina, and the Jets aren't much better than what he had at BYU. So it's no way that the Jets should have been moving the ball the way they were moving the ball yesterday.
And the other thing that was just didn't feel right until maybe right when Sweat got that sack on Wilson, there was no pressure.
None.
The front four didn't matter who they rotated in. He had 3, 4, 5 seconds to throw the ball, and it's just like, look, man. If let's say their goal is to compete while rebuilding, well, they're a half a game out of the playoffs right now, right? So if you're even thinking about competing, the two of the next you play the Redskins twice, right? You play the Giants again, and then you play Dallas again, right? At what point are do you think those quarterbacks, even though Heineke is, they're waiting for the Cinderella ball to drop or the shoe to drop, those guys can get out of the pocket and they can throw the ball,
right?
At least at an adequate pace. So if you can't get to them,
if you can't get to Zach Wilson,
yeah, man. And it wasn't even just Zach Wilson. It's like they made Tevin Coleman in the beginning look like he was like a resurgent, like getting back to his regular shape back when he was with the Falcons. Like, we couldn't stop him. But I mean, I'm glad the defense was able to turn it around, obviously, because once we got that first stop, that's when things started to turn around and they weren't really scoring much anymore. But I feel like you got to kind of give a little credit to Zach Wilson in a sense. He was making quick reads yesterday. He was getting the ball out quick. And then they were kind of mirroring what we were doing with the screen passes and the short passes. They weren't like they were making like giant completions where Elijah Moore was getting over the top, going like 50 yards on the field. They were quick flat passes that they were just able to, unfortunately, make the right plays at the right time.
Well, it's because we don't tackle. It's week 13 and we still don't tackle.
Too. Oh my God. Yeah, that's another thing. Not tackling, it's 3rd and 5. We're meeting you 2 yards or 3 yards before the first down marker, and the guy's plowing them over. Like Tevin Coleman ran. It was Anthony Harris.
Tevin Campbell would have ran him over too, though. Tevin
Yeah.
Campbell would have ran him over
Ran
too.
him smack over. And it's just like, look, are you not a starting, or aren't you supposed to be a starting safety? Can you not take him
Like
down?
fill the hole. You can't like Alex Singleton again. The guy tries, but it's just like, bruh.
With Alex Singleton, he's a situational guy. That he's unfortunately he has to be playing more than what
And every
he should.
down, right?
But if this was 2 years ago, he was just a special teams guy, and he came in last year. We talked about this earlier in the podcast before, that when he got thrown in, he played good enough for us to be like, wow, our linebackers stink, but at least he's doing better than Nate Gary, stuff like that. And so he gets that starter role this year, and now he's kind of reverting back. It's that Madden cover effect that guy had a great year 1 year, but then he reverts back to his norm, where last year was more of like an outlier.
Being better than Nate Gary is like being the tallest small person. Like, I'm better than Nate Gary. Congratulations, you're a tall midget. Like,
and then the other thing, you got, Gannon. I'm looking at Gannon as a whole, as the package he's presented to us this year. A lot of tentative play calling, and I think, yes, while he's at fault, I'm starting to really see the other part of it too. The pieces he has are either past their prime, unexpired, or they're just not good. You have a couple of positive pieces in there, like TJ Edwards, what's his name, Maddox, Slay, Sweat shows up every 2 games.
he shows flashes.
Right. It's just like, look, and poor Kerrigan, he's just out there just as an extra piece to keep one of the guys fresh.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I'm like, look, I feel it. I feel it on both sides. I understand what the fans are saying in regards to what Gannon's doing, but also on the flip side of it, I can see where Gannon is at a kind of, he's in a he's kind of out in no man's land, because the pieces they have at the premier spots on defense are just not good enough. They're just not. I mean, we've seen enough of a sample size. This is 12 games.
Yeah.
They're just not good enough on defense. They're just not.
I mean, hopefully with this bye week, Sirianni will sit them down. So I know the coaches, I believe he said the coaches are working tomorrow too. Then they're getting their break. Hopefully with this, they can really sit back. I know that's what they were doing when they worked. They played the Thursday night game. They were saying that they're going to sit back, kind of review themselves and everything. Now they even have a longer time now to really sit back and review and see what works, what doesn't. When he does bring the pressure on quarterbacks, we do play a little bit better. I mean, if you look at, I think it was points allowed the last 6 games. We're up there. We're a top defense in that area the last, I think it was 6 games but then again, I mean, look at our competition and stuff. But before we get onto the quarterbacks and everything, 'cause I know that's the hot topic this week, Dallas Goddard balled out yesterday, and the Eagles offense, I mean, they stalled out in the second half, mostly because we had the lead and we were just kind of trying to chew clock or whatever, but we weren't scoring. We were just getting field goals. But Dallas Goddard had a great game. Selfishly, I was a little upset that Devontae Smith didn't have a great game, but I'm not too concerned about that. I feel like they were playing a bigger package yesterday, and they were running the ball and throwing the tight ends mostly yesterday. So what were your guys' thoughts on Dallas Goddard, and have you guys seen him develop into that tight end that can replace Zach Ertz and everything like that?
Well, I think, on this part, they really actually took, or Sirianni and his offensive staff took the initiative to actually include him into the plan, to the game plan, right? With certain players, you got to get them started off early. You can't not throw Dallas the ball until halfway through the second quarter, and you can't, I don't want to go to the quarterback thing just yet, but you have to game plan these guys into the game. It's, you game plan Devontae into the game. You game plan Dallas into the game. Now, at least at this moment, barring, another injury. You know, hopefully Sanders should be back, and he said he'll be back after the bye. You have to gain. You have three core pieces right there, right? You have Sanders, you have Smith, you have Goddard. You have a package of plays for each, and you mix it in, right? It's really just, you know, logical, just thinking, critical thinking, second level thinking. You gotta, how they did it on yesterday, or did it yesterday, they got him into the game, which they needed to do. They needed to get him going because he was a mismatch on whoever they had out there. You know, I like CJ Mosley, but it was a mismatch out there. Whoever their safety was, it was a mismatch. If they had a corner on him, it was a mismatch. You have to play to your guys' strengths, you know?
Shout out to Joe. Special announcement, Philly 500 and Joey Shakes will be on tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern with, you know, Joe Castro, the leader of the group. So shout out to them. Make sure you guys catch that tomorrow. But let's hear what you guys say, Sawyer.
Well, I think whenever the backup quarterback comes in and plays, coaches call a different game and they become more conservative in most cases, right? So what I seen was a bunch of screens yesterday, which we haven't seen. I've seen a more conservative. We've been running the ball the last 4 out of the last 5 weeks, but I've seen a more concerted effort to run the ball in between the tackles and get the line going. Because, again, you had the better team, you had the better 11, and it was even a time where on 3rd and 2 this week, a few times on 3rd and 2, without Boston Scott, without a Jordan Howard, he handed the ball off. Now, granted, they didn't get it, but he actually ran the ball and played a little tighter to the vest because he had a backup quarterback. And the game plan and the play calls were just tweaked a little bit to maybe, what's the word I'm looking for? Simplify the offense. Dumbed it down. Not saying he dumbed it down, and not saying Minshew isn't good. Like, I'm just saying the kid, he hasn't played in a year. He's been on it. You simplify the offense and you go with what works, and that's what the game plan was yesterday. I would like for him, if Hurts is healthy next week, I would like for him to call the same game that he called yesterday for Jalen Hurts.
I agree. I think that if they run into people have like running quarterbacks, they run into this issue of overusing them as a runner than a quarterback. I mean, you saw it last year with the Patriots when they got Cam Newton. It's like all of a sudden Josh McDaniels got run happy and he was running every other play, I felt like, whenever I saw the Patriots play, instead of treating him like a in-the-pocket quarterback. Now, I know that Jalen Hurts is not an in-the-pocket quarterback, but if you force him to either hand the ball off or actually throw the ball instead of always calling these run option plays.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just getting ready to say, dude. He didn't call any RPOs yesterday. He called it was either a straight handoff or it was a quick drop back, or it was make your read, get rid of the ball. Like, it was just all quick hitters, crossing plays. He got it was quick plays. It wasn't a rollout. It wasn't an RPO. He eliminated the RPO yesterday and got Minshew comfortable.
And I wanted to go ahead. Right, I wanted to.
No.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, it was the play calling was definitely different, and it's a bunch of dumb comments coming across my screen.
No. And that's what I was going to say. Let me take care of this one.
You go ahead, because I'm not even going to address the bunch of dumb stuff that's coming across the screen.
Let me take care of this one from Mike P. So first off, good evening, Mike P. How are you doing? All right. So basically, you're saying Minshew has the highest IQ. You know, he had the highest test on our highest score on the IQ test, right? But where
Josh
is that?
Dobbs had a high IQ.
Right, but what did that get Minshew, right? Got him up out of Jacksonville, right? That's the first thing. And he was actually the third quarterback in Philadelphia, right? So actually, wait a minute. He was the second quarterback in Jacksonville, then started. Then they put him back on the bench, right? Then he came to Philadelphia. He was the third string quarterback. Then they traded Flacco to make him the second. He made him the backup. And at the end of the game yesterday, what did Sirianni say? He said that Jalen would be the starting quarterback when he came back after the bye. So, Mike P, what does that tell you about what they think of Minshew? That answers your IQ question right there.
He's a really smart guy. He's a really smart guy.
Yeah, you could be smart, but if you're a backup, you're a backup. So that answers your question. Now back, as far as everything else goes, I saw a comment in regards to trading for Russell Wilson. Don't get me wrong. I like Russ. We all do, right? Great story, great leader, great man, great quarterback. However, he's 33 years old. What are we trying to do here in Philadelphia? We're trying to get younger and have a core set of guys on both sides of the football. How does a 33-year-old quarterback who really has decent pieces in Seattle now, and they're not getting the ball?
What has Russ done without the Legion of Boom?
Not much. I mean, he throws a good deep ball, though. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
No, but I'd be a liar.
Guess what? He can throw the deep ball. Can Rager hold on to it?
That's a great question. And I mean, to be fair to Minshew and everything, Minshew played, like you said, they called a different game in a sense, and he played well. He was able to make the throws. Were some throws underthrown? For sure. I mean, that one touchdown where Goddard was wide open, he had to stop and catch that ball, and maybe a faster corner would have got him right there. But needless to say, he got the ball where it needed to be, and he made the throws. He made the throws that he needed to do. I think it was Lord Brunson who made a point on Twitter today and said that 60% of his first half passes were short passes, either
under 7 yards. They were under 6 yards.
Right. Yeah. So he's able to make those throws. And yes, Jalen has missed some short throws this season for sure. But I mean, when you have the bulk of the plays and you have the ball in your hand all the time, if it's either running or throwing more than the running backs or anything, I mean, yeah, you're bound to miss some throws here and there. But I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say because I like Minshew. I like his swag. I like his attitude. I like his personality. But at the end of the day, I do see us having a better chance winning with like a Jalen Hurts who has the extra X factor of being able to run the ball and throw on the run and everything like that. We saw what Minshew did in Jacksonville. They had DJ Chark over there, who's a solid wide receiver, and then they had a bunch of meh guys. And that's kind of like here. We have Devontae Smith and a bunch of meh guys. Right. And so what's going to be different with having Minshew there now without having that other factor of running the ball? And I think that's where Jalen Hurts is able to excel more, especially with our team.
How much pressure? Go ahead, Black.
And then the other question, I'm going to want to go back to this one more time. What would Russell Wilson do with this team right now? Nothing.
Wilson wins the Super Bowl in Philly. You out your mind, Mike P. You out your mind. Tom Brady wouldn't win a Super Bowl in Philly. Peyton Manning wouldn't win a Super Bowl in Philly.
Right.
Ben Roethlisberger ain't winning a Super Bowl in this with this Philly team. Get out of here.
Hurts is reliability. Hurts has only turned the ball over a total of between the picks and the fumbles 7 times.
11 times. Yeah. It's not double digits.
33
and 11.
39 touchdowns. So that's a 4 up on there 4-to-1 ratio.
That's 4-to-1. That's 4-to-1.
Okay, continue, Brandon. This guy's taking too much of our time right now, man. I'm not entertaining that right now.
No, I'm not entertaining that. Minshew had a game against the Jets. Dog. He beat the Jets. I could have quarterbacked that win.
Come on.
Like, not to take away, but since we want to discredit and throw shit around, what has Minshew done? Minshew has played. What has Minshew done? They gave him away. Jacksonville gave him away.
They could have kept him as a backup.
Jacksonville gave him away.
They could have kept
Jacksonville gave him away.
Yeah, they could have kept him as a backup, but they didn't. So what does that tell you?
So
they gave him away.
It's crazy what we have in Philly, and it goes back before even Nick Foles. I mean, we have this quarterback issue, backup quarterback where
the backup quarterback, the most popular guy on the team.
It went from Kevin Kolb to Michael Vick because he was technically a backup. I mean, granted, Michael Vick, I was yelling for Michael Vick too, but I'm just saying there's a backup thing. And then to Nick Foles. And then if Sam Bradford would have stayed here while Carson Wentz was a rookie, everyone would have been clamoring for Carson Wentz. And then it was Nick Foles. And then so we have this thing, and it's just like sometimes just let the backup quarterback play. And if we win, that's dope. And let's move on.
Right.
AJ Philly won games. We didn't scream. We wanted AJ Philly.
The one thing I would tell you, and I would exercise this advice for any Eagles fan. Hey, we have 13 days until they play again, right? Stay off of social media.
The Jets are way worse than the Giants. The Jets are way worse than the Giants.
Stay off of social media. Stay off of social media. Take this as your own buy. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody's scared of Minshew. He's not a walking quarterback.
I don't want to hear not one point of a quarterback controversy. I don't want to hear any of that. Just enjoy the win. Let's get ready for the Washington football team.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alabama would be the favorite against the Jets.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
The Jets couldn't win the SEC right now. But if y'all want to praise Minshew, like I knew this would happen. That's why I was hoping we kind of lost yesterday, because I knew this idiotic nonsense was going to start. I knew this idiotic nonsense was going to.
That's why I didn't want to address it. I already knew where it was going.
I knew if Minshew could have had a horrible game and the Eagles won, and they still would have found a way to praise him. I'm happy the kid played well. The Eagles got a W, but come on, fam, it's the Jets. It's the Jets.
It's just the instant gratification factor with a lack of common sense tied in. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my God. Like just I love my fan base. I love our fan base. But sometimes you have to love
I hate them.
But sometimes you have to love them from afar. And I'm loving them from afar this week. I'm not taking no drama, no mess.
Philly literally has the dumbest fans in sports. I wonder why people, every other franchise in all sports hate the Eagles and their fans. And I'm an Eagles fan. I've been an Eagles fan my whole life, and I'm slowly starting to understand and feel the same way.
I figured it out.
It's ridiculous.
When you see it, just go the other way. Don't acknowledge it. Don't give it.
I'm getting ready to start ignoring it.
So safe to say is that we all agree here that Jalen Hurts needs to be the starter for this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now
Minshew won't even be here next year. Minshew won't be here next year.
That's true. Maybe. Now, this is what I was talking to Black Market about before you came on, Swerve, and this is a question for you guys. Do you feel like sometimes with these injuries and then the backup gets to play, and this is a backup that technically was traded for while Nick Sirianni was head coach. It's not someone that was already here when Nick was here. Do you think that low-key Nick, like maybe Minshew might be Nick Sirianni's guy more than Jalen Hurts? And this was like a good kind of like audition in a sense of Minshew for the Eagles offense?
And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Jeffrey Lurie's pick was Jalen Hurts. along with Howie Roseman. And who is who is employed by both Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie? Nicholas Sirianni.
What's his name? That guy. Yeah, him.
So at this point, that tells you if those two want Hurts to be the quarterback, that's who's going to be your quarterback. Pretty simple.
But there's been news of controversy between, and that take it for what it is. It could be take it for a grain of salt. But I saw on Twitter some article, I forgot who made it, but that there are rumors that they are split on who they want as a quarterback. It may not be between Minshew and Hurts per se, but more of Hurts being like the future next year and so on, and or getting somebody else.
I saw Jeff McClain. I think it might have been Jeff McClain's article. Pretty good journalist. You know, he gets a lot of flack in the area, but he's just doing his job. I saw it, but I really think this is Hurts's job to lose. You know, you have 4 more games left. You need to show some effort, show some real gains of these at least 3 out of these next 4. You need to show something, because what you don't want to do is have a general manager who we all know his track record, along with the owner, making a decision that maybe they don't want to make, but because they're antsy and they want to win, they make the wrong decision that sets this franchise back a little further. You just don't want that to happen. So that's kind of more the reason why you would root for Hurts. You know, I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying, like, hey, he got a year, you know, and he has to perform well in order to at least, you know, kill the noise for at least for the summer, you know. So that's all I gotta say about that.
Go ahead, start Minshew.
Start
Minshew. Start Minshew. Start him. And when they're 0-4, like, first off, let's not. The expectations of this team have already been met.
Right. Yep.
And exceeded. Like, I think Vegas had him at 5.5. 5.5 was the over-under, right? So 5.5 was the over-under. They're at 6 and 7 right now. And technically, if you go and look back, and every team could probably say this, but realistically, the Eagles are 4 plays from being their 6 and 7, and the Eagles are maybe 4 plays from being
8 and 5.
8 and 5. The Eagles are, I mean, they get the ball in the end zone after completing a 90-something yard pass against San Fran. They win that game. Like, Boston Scott doesn't fumble last week, or Jalen Reagor catches the ball last week. They win that game. Like, so again, this fan base has this unrealistic attitude and expectations, and it's beyond stupid. Like, it's silly. It's silly. The kid came in and played a great game against the Jets. Congratulations. The Jets are like a 64 on Madden. Jets players don't even use the Jets when they play Madden. Like, come on, man. He beat the Jets. The Eagles were 11-0 and have beat the Jets by 18 points the last 4 matchups. They practiced with the Jets in the offseason. The Eagles knew exactly what they were doing. Sirianni was completely comfortable with playing Minshew against the Jets because he knew who the Jets were, and he called the game to take advantage of what he knew he could. And it's like, but of course, oh my God, Gardner Minshew is the man. Gardner Minshew is the greatest. So he played at Washington State. Everybody under Mike Leach leads the nation in passing. Cliff Kingsbury led the nation in passing. Everybody at Texas Tech led the nation in passing. And then Mike Leach went to Washington State, and everybody at Washington State led the nation in passing. And now Michael Leach is going to turn wherever he is in the coaching
I got a question.
into somebody leading. Colt Brennan led the nation in passing at Hawaii. Colt Brennan works at IGA right now bagging groceries. And that's where Gardner Minshew is going to probably be in the next 2 years. He led the Gardner Minshew couldn't cut it at Alabama, and Jalen Hurts could. What does that say about them?
I got a question. What do you think is the underlining issue? If we're going to be really raw about it and really honest, what do you think
If Jalen Hurts is a poor man, Seneca Wallace, what is Gardner Minshew?
No,
what is Gardner Minshew?
What is the real issue that a certain faction of the fan base has with Jalen Hurts? What do you think it is?
They're just miserable people. They're mad that Carson Wentz left.
Yeah.
They're mad that their butt hurt over Carson Wentz, so they hate Jalen Hurts. Their butt hurt over Carson Wentz, so they hate Jalen Hurts. The man just called Jalen Hurts a poor man's Seneca Wallace. But you're rooting for Gardner Minshew, who is a poor man's what? Who is a poor man's who's the boy we just beat for the Saints? That was Simeon.
Because the crazy thing to me is
Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
Blake. Yeah, no, he's not even as good as Blake Bortles. He's not even as good as Blake Bortles. He's like a Dan Orlovsky type of. He's a poor man's Dan Orlovsky.
The crazy thing to me is you don't hear nothing from these people when they win. Nothing.
Right.
It's like, well, everybody else won. Well, who else is on the team? You never.
Miles Sanders ran for 100 yards yesterday, but we're gonna praise Gardner Minshew. But if Miles Sanders would have ran for 100 yards,
the first 100-yard rusher,
Jalen Hurts in a whole season,
right?
First time we had a 100-yard rusher in the whole season, but
no one talked about it. You know what did Goddard have? 5 for 98 and 2 touchdowns.
I think he had over 100 yards, if I'm not mistaken.
Right. Yeah. What's the first thing they're going to go back to? Oh, Hurts is hurt. Like, what type of illogical backwoods trailer park?
It's so goofy, man.
Like,
it
gets to a point where it's just like, you know what? We all took the same test in high school, but clearly some of us just got pushed through. That's what I think. It's like, golly, man. Jesus. Like,
that being said, I know we talked about Miles a couple of times. We finally saw him get 20 plus carries yesterday. It wasn't his fault that his ankle got rolled up on. But once again, it's like that same ankle. It's like him and Saquon, that Penn State running back company, just putting out bad ankle running backs. But what were your guys' thoughts on Miles Sanders? And did you guys see improvement in him? Do you feel like he was still kind of bouncing east-west, or did you see if he was attacking the holes or not?
It's the Jets.
Right. And then and then we saw the bouncing in the beginning. But then once he got his feet up under him, he got into a rhythm. Everything was straightforward. And then the thing he needed to really mature on is you can bounce, but bounce once you're through the hole.
Get through the hole first. Get through the hole first. And he did that after like the second or third carry. Everything was straightforward, and he was finishing. He lowered his shoulder. He lowered his shoulder a couple times. But everybody lowers their shoulders against the Jets.
Right? Yeah. He was lowering his pads. So I
nobody's getting credit. I'm disrespect. Nobody's getting credit. Nobody's getting credit for the win now. Since everybody's trying to disrespect Jalen, nobody's getting credit for that win yesterday. It was the Jets.
9-5-1. We're talking about the running backs now. Stick on this.
I'm gonna come on your show. He said he want me on the show. I'm putting it to you like this: the Giants have more talent than the Jets. Daniel Jones is superior to Zach Wilson. The Giant, every Giant receiver is better than any Jets receiver. Saquon Barkley is better than any running back on the Jets. The Jets defensive backs, and the Jets' defensive backfield is better than the Giants' defensive backfield is better than the Jets' defensive backfield, even with their backups playing. The only player on the Jets defense that would start for the Giants is C.J. Mosley. He got 8 games under 200 passing yards. He got a bunch of games rushing and a bunch of rushing touchdowns. I'm not looking for yards. I'm looking for wins. I'm looking for development. I'm looking for improvement. I mean, hell, Matt Stafford got a bunch of 400-yard passing games and probably only played in one playoff game his whole career. Matt Stafford got a bunch of 400 yards. I ain't drinking nothing today, man. I'm sober. I think that's why I'm so angry. I think that's part of my anger issues right now, man. I should have got drunk if I knew these folks was going to talk this Gardner Minshew. Is the GOAT.
They really ain't talked. Like if you look at the comments, right? We've talked about the running backs. We've talked about the defense. We've talked about the receivers. We talked about the tight ends. We talked about the coaches, the play calling, and Jets fans. But yet they only talk about one thing.
What has Trey Lance done? What has Justin Fields done that Jalen Hurts hasn't done? Jalen has a losing record as a starter.
Why are they stuck on Jalen Hurts when we've already covered like 7 other things?
Right.
Bruh.
And they keep bringing up the passing stats. I get that, but you also got to, like Swerve said, you got to pay attention to the running too. The guy is running for mad touchdowns as well, and that's putting points on the board. Who cares how the points get on the board? We just need the points on the board.
What's Gardner Minshew's record?
Remember, I said this a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago. Why is it that with our fan base, it's like you get a dog and there's like you go to the dog section of a grocery store and you get them the rawhide bone, and that's all they pin. That's the only toy they play with for like 6 months until something else happens. That is the equivalent of what our fans do. They get a rawhide bone and they just never stop playing with that bone. Like they don't see anything else. Like there's no other food over there. There's no other food over there in the corner. They just worry about one thing. They have to learn how to diversify. Think about there's more parts of the team than just the quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like it's the Jets.
Yeah. Yes, it's the Jets.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's one thing to like everyone's a fan, right? We're all fans. We root for the Eagles. Everyone's happy with the Eagles play. If you have players that you like, you have players that you like. None of us can tell you who to like, who to not. But when you come and you're trying to put your player that you like better, you're trying to use stats and everything like that, then you really have to pay attention to the whole part. Like if you're going to come with facts, then put all the facts on the table.
McNabb never threw for 4,000 yards, but he probably threw for like 3,700 and ran for another 400 or 500. So his total yardage was over 4,000 for the season. So it's just like you're picking and choosing. I could name you plenty of guys that threw for 300 yards, multiple 300-yard games, and their teams aren't winning. So
think about this. Like, understand this though. Everyone they want to keep mentioning quarterback, right? But what if just Jason Kelce would have had a season-ending injury, right? We all saw the game. We all saw how he got up and walked away. Luckily.
Yeah. Thankfully.
So how and we saw what happened when Herbie
he didn't play. Yeah.
But again,
but they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about Kelce missing drives last week. They don't want to talk about Kelce missing drives. They don't want to talk about Boston Scott fumbling the ball when we were moving. They don't want to talk about Greg Ward missing the pass. They don't want to talk about Jalen Reagor and his 2 drops. They just want to talk about Hurt. I mean,
please, hey, I'm grateful that none of you guys work at my local Chick-fil-A, because I know I wouldn't get none of my nuggets right. My fries would be cold. You know what I'm saying? My lemonade would be watered down. Good Lord.
They like it's a team. It's 22 play. It's 11 players on the field all the time at all times, and y'all focus on Hurts. He had a bad first half.
One person.
He had a,
like nothing
he
else
had a
ever
bad
happened.
first half.
And
Like
this is the kind of
happened.
thing that kind of gets to me. Is the not allowing someone to develop. It's like we went ahead. Like I think you brought this up last week or the week before. People want microwave success. They just want popcorn in a bag. They want to stick it in there for 2 minutes and hope for the have a nice bag ready. But in reality, back in the day, people had to develop. People needed time. They needed a couple years. But now it's like, now we can't give Jalen Hurts a shot. Why is that? And I feel like you were hinting at something before, Black Market, about why are people not wanting to give Hurts that same treatment that other teams have given, like a Brock Osweiler or a Trevor Siemian in a couple years and stuff.
So
we know the underlying reason, but we'll keep that off record.
Yeah, I'm with you. I totally feel like for years we've gotten these quarterbacks, right? And you've seen them. Like, even let's take Josh Allen, for example. Josh Allen was horrible.
Needed time to develop.
Josh Allen was horrible his first
2 years. He was horrible.
And in his second year, he made a moderate improvement. It wasn't anything that, like, oh, this kid can play. Like, no, but you know what? It wasn't this huge, oh, Josh Allen sucks. Like, I know plenty of people in Buffalo who were just like, we got to give this kid and we got to let him develop because he played at a small school, and it takes 2 or 3 years. Like, what people don't realize, from if you watch and follow sports, normally a kid makes that jump his sophomore to junior year. He makes a jump. And then in the NFL, players usually make that jump in their third year. This is Jalen Hurts, year 1.5.
Josh Allen had the same quarterback in play. Wait a minute. Oh my God. Go ahead, Marv.
Josh Allen has no weapons and poor coaching. What weapons did Jalen Hurts have? What weapons did Jalen Hurts have?
Good
Eagles
point,
fans are way too impatient. Yeah, good exactly, Lena. Instant. Everything has to be instant in Philadelphia. Everything has to be instant. Josh Allen was trash his first 2 years. What weapons? They went out and got Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and he made an improvement.
Success.
He made an improvement.
I'm gonna explain something to these folks in a football sense and tie it into a life sense. If you think you're going to succeed in 1 year, you're going to get mad every year, because guess what? Your success in life is sort of mirrors the same success that you have in the NFL or in sports in general. Yeah. Someone has to be there to champion your cause, not just one person. There's normally a team that's there that is going to help you succeed. Yes, you have to do your part to some extent, but you are only as good as the people who are mentoring you or the pieces that are around you that make your organization look good. That's just the bottom line. And if you can't get that, not only will your team not be good, and you'll keep crying every year, but in life in general, if you don't get that point, you'll still be banking on your tax returns every year to help you get over. Right. If you want to live that way.
I mean, if people who are fans of Carson Wentz even know, his first full year starting his rookie season, he stunk. I mean, granted, yeah, you could say the weapons, yada yada, but he
was throwing the Beckham Green
touchdowns. He had mad interceptions, and he stunk. But then he got a full year. He got the off season. There was no COVID stipulations or anything like that back then. And then the second year, he was able to turn a new leaf and killed it that year until he got hurt. Why can't we give a guy who played 4 games last year, which those 4 games were just kind of just like washed up, like there was drama all over the place. There was everything going on. And then this year is still, they have all those COVID things over the summer. They don't get like the full treatment like they've had in the past. And just giving him the time to develop and give him a season to go ahead. And if he stinks next season, then we're talking a different story because
Right,
we're not going to
absolutely.
re-sign him
Hey.
because that'll be the end of his rookie contract by that point. But give him another
They went
year.
and got
Patient.
they went and got Carson, Alshon Jeffries, and Torrey Smith, and they traded for Ajayi, all in the same.
All in 6
Right.
weeks. All within 6
Oh,
weeks.
right. So Russell Wilson did what? Guess what? Russell Wilson threw an interception in the Super Bowl with the game on the line and gave Tom Brady the dub. Russell Wilson is an undercover police. He probably say, "Hey, my man, can I get 3 weeds?" Don't nobody want him in here. Don't nobody want Russ in town. He's 33 years old. They let Russ cook, and that's why they can't get a dub right now. They can't. What's Seattle record? 3 and what?
Here, 3 and 8.
3 and what? And okay, if Jalen Hurts is as bad as Geno Smith, the Eagles done double they win with Geno Smith like.
No,
Horrible. Eagles fans are horrible.
We can go on this for another hour.
The Flyers suck. Y'all want to hate? Y'all hate on the Flyers. The Flyers suck. They just fired their coach at the end of the first period, but y'all hating on Jalen Hurts.
And the Phillies and the Phillies been in free agency for the last month and a half.
And ain't signed nobody.
And then went into a strike. But y'all don't talk about how trash they been. They ain't got Bryce Harper. They ain't got Bryce Harper 1 ounce of help other than JT Realmuto.
But y'all talking about Jalen Hurts and maybe Gardner Minshew could back clean up because he's that guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
he has a losing record.
We did just play the Jets, and this is Monday Review. Let's give at least 2 things that you guys saw yesterday that you guys liked, that you felt like was an improvement throughout the season.
More TJ Edwards. I see more TJ Edwards, and then Landon Dickerson.
I was going to say him. I'm glad you brought him up.
You know, sometimes all the time you should hold yourself accountable for the things you do and what you say. When Landon was drafted, I was critical at a point because I felt as though they could have gotten a guy that was healthy with no injury issues, no concerns, and all of those types of things. Landon Dickerson, provided he stays healthy, and I hope he does. This dude is going to be a Pro Bowl lineman for the next 10 to 12 years, easily.
Guard, center, wherever you want to put him. And I called him ACL man. I called him ACL man for the longest time. I wouldn't call him by his name.
Yeah, dude.
But the best thing about when you're a lineman and you don't hear his name mentioned, that means he's doing a great job. And Dickerson has been playing really, really good football over the last few weeks. And I am actually grateful that they took him when they did take him. Birdman, this is for you, Birdman, because y'all done. I said I wasn't drinking tonight, but y'all done Gardner Minshew me to the point I need to just drink. So
I don't know what they're gonna do with Brandon Brooks when they. I don't know
cut
where
him.
you put him. I don't know.
Cut him. Unless the
That's
cap hit is too much.
Great topic right there. We have the bye week coming up, obviously.
Yeah.
And there was a list of players. I forgot who posted it, but there was a list of players. Basically, everyone's good to go. Hopefully, by after the bye, that's Jordan Howard, Jason Kelsey, Jalen Hurts. Everybody's good to go after the bye. But the person not really mentioned is Brandon Brooks. Where are you guys at with the $1 million man that is just kind of been chilling the last 2 years, rehabbing?
I mean, I love him. Great guy, great tackle, great guard. But at the point they are at in this year, and if the line is intact, provided all their starters are there, we asked this question 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were like, bring them back, right? I think we're all consensus, okay, let them play. I don't think 3 weeks later that you can.
All right.
Here's my thing.
Jeremiah Butler real quick with the $1.99 super chat. Let Brooks go. Dude's robbing us. I mean,
he's stealing money.
But low key, Our high key. He is.
Yeah, yeah. Great guy, great
guy
man.
goes on.
We know his story, but I don't
Yeah.
think you can mess with this line the way it is right now.
I agree. But going forward, here's my only issue. He's still 30. What is he? Was he 30?
31,
Let me look it up.
31, I think.
So we like you said, if ACL man can stay healthy, right?
Landlord.
you can slide him to center. Let's say you can slide him to center, and then you can plug Brooks back in at that guard position. That's the only reason I can see Brooks standing around. If Kelsey's definitely committed to leaving after this season,
and I don't think he will.
I don't think he will neither, because like everybody, if you go back when we were chatting, this was supposed to be a horrible season. This was supposed to be a horrible season. We were supposed to be the Jets. And we were supposed to be the Jets, but like I said earlier, we are literally 4 plays away from being a game behind Dallas.
And I think Kelsey enjoys playing with this.
Mike P, if you just say you hate Jalen Hurts, just say you hate Jalen Hurts. I think Mike P is Joe's burner account, honestly. I've never seen Mike P on the show until today. I think Mike P is Joe. He took a page out of Kevin Durant's book. Okay, Joseph Durant.
That was cold.
What was my? That's Joe's burner account.
Poor Joe,
So
man.
with the bye week here, we got the week off. We're going to be chilling, watching everyone else play football, and we don't have to stress out this week. What are some things you guys want to see the Eagles kind of work on, if it's coaching, players, whatever, with this bye week going into the Washington game?
Work on the fundamentals. I don't want you to go out there and do some exquisite new stuff, man. Just the fundamentals. You fine-tune the fundamentals, the simple things. You know, you're blocking, you're tackling, you know, every man doing their job. If you do the small things, the bigger things will take care of itself.
Facts.
Yeah, that's it. Just do your job and take care of the fundamentals. That's it.
I want to see a scrimmage. I want to see Gardner Minshew and Jalen Reagor versus Steve Nelson and Anthony Harris. And I want Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith versus Edson Slay. And I want to see whoever wins the scrimmage gets to be the starter in 2 weeks.
Wow.
So, I mean, I knew this was going to happen. And I said this was my worst fear as an Eagles fan. Like every time a backup quarterback comes in and gets a dub, it's a controversy. It's stupid. McNabb should have been an MVP one year. He gets hurt. Jeff Garcia comes in now. Y'all talking about trade McNabb. And Rodney Peete.
Oh God, yeah.
Rodney, I can go back to the Corey Detmer, Rodney Peete, Randall Cunningham, Ron Jaworski. It's always Philadelphia. It's always stupidity in Philadelphia when it comes to backup quarterback.
It's
like I said,
emotions, man. People. It's like 10,000. It's like 1 million people get menopause at once.
Bro.
It's literally what it is. Like they just forget all logic.
Yeah,
they're cool for a week.
Like we said last week, like Jalen Reagor catches that ball. Jalen Reagor catches one of those balls. There's no call for Jalen Hurts to. Oh, Minshew had a good game. Bring Hurts back. If Jalen Reagor catches one of those balls, like we said, Lamar Jackson played shitty 2 weeks ago. He stepped up, and Andrews made a play at the end of the game. And nobody's talking about Lamar Jackson's 4 interceptions. They're talking about how Lamar Jackson had a gutsy drive down the field and led his team, even though he played horrible. Jalen Reagor was in that same situation, and nobody stepped up for him. And you're calling for Reagor's head.
It's like a family reunion. I know it's like a family reunion. I know it's going to happen every Sunday, but I never want to show up. and I refuse to. I don't want to be any. I don't want to be attached with these people. I just don't. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just like,
God dang.
it grinds my
I know
gears.
you, but I don't want to know you. I know who you are, but I don't really want to know you.
Yeah.
I knew soon as he underthrew the second touchdown pass to Goddard, sports radio was going to go crazy. It's Philadelphia. It's just like and it's all Philadelphia sports. Like the Sixers with Ben Simmons and everybody's talking about, oh, we got Maxey. We don't need Ben Simmons. You're a damn fool if you think Maxey is on the same level as Ben Simmons. Like, but it's a Philadelphia thing. Philadelphia cheers for the backup. I blame Rocky.
I blame Rocky.
Yeah.
The most popular player, the most popular athlete.
I blame Vince
in Philadelphia history. Yeah. The most popular athlete in Philadelphia sports history.
You got the sweatshirt on, the underdogs.
Yeah.
And the fictional boxer.
Yeah.
But,
like I just I do got on. I gotta give me something else.
But yeah,
so those three stories, man.
I want to see Sirianni talk to Gannon. I'm hoping that Sirianni has a sit down with Gannon and really talks about just bringing the pressure and not playing this scary defense where like you're scared of the big play, but letting up every short play in front of you so people can methodically march down the field and take up 6 minutes at a time and have like 8 or 10 plays for 75 yards on a TD. Like that can't happen anymore if we're going to try to make plays.
You can't play that defense if you don't have people who tackle. And we play the defense to keep everybody in front of you and tackle, but we just don't have people to tackle. I miss the Jim Johnson days. It was a play yesterday where if Jim Johnson was alive, God rest his soul, he would have blitzed all 11 players and said, Zach Wilson, you got to get the ball. I'm pretty sure I can get to you before you can get this ball out there. And I miss that. We need a nasty son of a bitch defensive coordinator who's going to bring the house on 3rd and 5, who's going to blitz that A-gap, who's going to bring a corner, who's going to bring a safety. I miss those days. I miss the days of a quarterback actually having fear in their eyes on 3rd and 6 because you didn't know. You knew it was coming. You didn't know, Paul. You didn't know where the blitz was coming from. I miss those days. We haven't had those days in a long time since McDermott. But I really miss those 9 in the box, and we're going to play our corners on. We're going to put our corners on the island on 3rd and 7, and we're going to flood this box, and we're going to make you get rid of the ball before your receiver completes his route. And it's no way you don't do that against a rookie quarterback. It's no way you don't do that. So I just, if I was Sirianni, I would sit down and show Gannon all of Jim Johnson highlight films. This is what I need. This is what I need. Like, and you can do that with him. I think with Schwartz, there was an ego because I think at the end of the day, Schwartz didn't respect Peterson, and Schwartz felt like that should have been his job. But with Gannon, like y'all homies, y'all both in y'all 30s, y'all both up and coming coaches. That's your homie. He brought you onto the staff. You're underperforming. You always want to give your homie a shot. Like, look, I need a little bit more pressure from you. This isn't working for me. This is what I need. You are in Philly. We are a city of dogs. We are a city of dogs. We built on defense. Like all of our great teams, Buddy Ryan. I grew up in the Buddy Ryan era, and then we transitioned from the Buddy Ryan era. We had Andre Waters, Eric Allen, Steph Joyner, Jerome Brown, Clyde Simmons, Reggie White. Dogs on defense. You transition from that. You got the Brian Dawkins. Jeremiah Trotter was like really the last time we had a nasty middle linebacker. But we went and got the freak. You had Jason Babin, Corey Simon was solid. We bought pressure. You had Lito Shepherd on the outside. You had Shelton Brown on the outside. We need to bring the pressure.
Right.
We need to bring the pressure on 3rd down. That's what I want to see them work on this week off. I want a Thursday. I want them to next Sunday when Hinky's in that 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7.
Yeah, because this little.
I need you to bring that A gap. I need you to fire that A gap up, sir. I need you to fire that A gap up.
Because Heineke
You
is
got
too,
you got
comfortable. He's too comfortable.
Yeah, you got one of the best corners in the league. You didn't trade Slay to play him 7 yards off the ball all game. You need to bring that pressure. Slay gets paid. Big play Slay. He's a man corner. Play that, bring that pressure and make Slay earn his money. I like big play. And I like Maddox. I just think the defense got it. That's what I want to see in this week off. I want to see the defense come out and be a little more aggressive. Yeah, Babin's a big dude. I met him a couple times. Babin is definitely a cool dude. He's a big dude. His biceps are. I was like, oh man, like he's way bigger than he looks on TV. That's for sure.
All right. So we've been here for about an hour, reviewing yesterday, reviewing the Jalen Hurts, the Minshew, the Philly unfortunate drama that for some reason we're in right now because we don't even get to play it Thursday or this weekend. We have to sit on this for a whole week. So just prepare. All the Facebook groups are in, the Twitter timeline, whatever. You're going to see this for about a week and a half, 2 weeks until whoever starts against Washington. So before we get out of here, Black Market Swerve, last thoughts.
I'm on.
Go ahead, Black.
I'm not thinking about no Hurts, no Minshew, none of that. I'm going to enjoy my 13 days. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. I don't care about any other stuff. Let the miserables, the miserables handle that. They can have that fight amongst themselves. I'm just going to enjoy the other football games that come on TV and just hope, everybody comes out of the bye healthy and, get ready for these next 4 or 5 games. That's what I want.
Draft Spencer Rattler.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going to start it now. Let's just go ahead. Trade Jalen Hurts for whatever we can get for him. And draft Spencer Rattler since, we don't have a quarterback. We got a running back playing quarterback. Actually, we should let Gainwell start quarterback in 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure he can learn a playbook in 2 weeks, and we can just start Gainwell at quarterback.
Who's their third string quarterback?
Oh, I don't
Greg
even know.
Ward.
I saw him on the sideline. I was like, oh, my God. He does
what
not
is his
look
name?
like
I remember hearing his name. I forgot it.
Maybe he should play.
Reed Sennett. That's who it is. Reed Sennett should play next week.
Yeah. I'm all about it. Let's just get Jalen Hurts out of here because obviously he's underperforming and underachieving. So I'm just ready to move on. I'm just ready to move on from Jalen Hurts. I'm ready to move on from Jalen Hurts. That's all. I'm ready to move on. You know what? I'm just move the Eagles to Camden. Matter of fact, just let them be the Camden Eagles. Let's just move the whole team. Get rid of the quarterback. Get rid of the coach. Yeah, good. Join teams with the Steelers. They got a quarterback. Maybe we can go back. What was that, 1933? We can be the Steagles again. Like, I don't know. Just get rid of Jalen Hurts. Let Big Ben take over. Maybe we can. Najee Harris is probably better than Miles Sanders. Let's just join teams with the Steelers and see if we can make something happen these next 2 weeks. That's where I'm at with it. I'm not talking Eagles football unless it's. I am talking Eagles football because I hate Gardner Minshew now. I hate Gardner Minshew like he's a Cowboy now, honestly. Like, if I see somebody with a Gardner Minshew, I'm going to punch. I better not see a number 10 jersey. I see anybody in a number 10 jersey, it's on site. Like, they don't even make Gardner Minshew jerseys. Gardner Minshew dad don't even have a Gardner Minshew jersey. He was wearing the Eagles hoodie the other day. Like, come on, fam. Like,
Oh, man.
let's just get rid of the team.
For those that are around Swerve wearing a Minshew jersey, it's on tight.
Mike P. Castro, because I know that's Joe Castro burner account. I know Mike P. is Joe Castro burner account.
Hey, man.
I know y'all hate Jalen Hurts. Like,
I'll keep going. My bad.
No, I know. I got the meme. I sent y'all. We did the meme with Joe Castro don't like Jalen Hurts. Like, you
really don't.
you really on your Kanye, man. You really on your Kanye. But I get it. Like, I get it. And I knew if Minshew performed well in the win, if Minshew performed well, it didn't matter. The Eagles could have lost the shootout 45-43 yesterday, but if Minshew performed well, it was going to be these Minshew talks. I expect it. I hate y'all Eagles fans, but I love y'all Eagles fans. We have to do better.
I don't see it. I'm blind and I don't see it.
So
we have to do better.
At the end of the day, we did get the dub. It was a necessary dub because our season pretty much would have been over if we lost to the Jets. So we got that necessary dub against a team that we were supposed to beat. It is what it is. It was kind of complicated with the Hurts and the Minshew, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, all of us fans should feel good. We got the dub. But until next time, fly, Eagles, fly.
Peace. Go Birds!
Yes, sir. With the Philadelphia
John
Eagles.
Dornbos here, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Edwards, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Follow my guy Joe Castro on his YouTube/podcast channel.
Let's give a shout out to the Philly podcast.
And shout out Philly, and my guy Joe Castro. So keep on doing great things, guys. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Go Birds.